All right, so yesterday we were seeing some of the complex conjunct consonants that are a little more difficult to identify just by looking at them. So we saw ksha, tra, gnya first. Ksha, tra, gnya are actually in the Hindi alphabet. You will find them written as letters, and people who learn the Hindi alphabet are not told that they're actually conjunct consonants. And a key difference between Hindi and Sanskrit is that this letter, nya, is pronounced as gya. That's why you'll hear people say gyan, yagya, like that, because in Hindi the sound is gya. So if you hear gyan, that means the person is speaking Hindi, not Sanskrit. So if you see this word and you are speaking Sanskrit, you have to say jnana yajna, right? So please watch out for that specifically. Then we saw a few other examples of common conjunct consonants that need a little attention before you can identify them. But we gave attention, so now we should be good to go. You should be able to, if not identify them by yourselves, then by referencing this sheet, check and identify them. Okay, I think this covers majority of the letters, formations of syllables that you will find in the script. So now what are we going to do today if we finished everything already? Well, today we're going to do a quick review, and I'll take any questions that anybody has after I'm done my review. Okay? Can you all hear me okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. So, we started by learning the vowels. U, We learned the vowels. We learned that the vowels are only used in this form at the beginning of a word. Inside a word, they're used as symbols. We also studied what the symbols are for the respective vowels. Specifically, please remember, when there is no halant, it means that there is an a. The absence of a halant indicates the presence of the vowel a in our consonants. So this was our vowels. We also saw that this and aha are not technically vowels. They are just kept there as placeholders, because the anuswara, the dot on the top, and the visarga, the two dots on the side, they need a vowel before they can be pronounced. So we keep them with the a vowel. But if you don't like choose any. You can put e, you can put u, you can put a, you can put whatever you want, right? But they go with the vowels. I will get to clarifying about this I know a few people had questions about when to use the versus the ma, halant, and what exactly it is. So I'll address that as soon as I'm done this section. The visarga is not pronounced aha everywhere. Like if you see a word guru with a visarga, it's not guru ha, it's guru hu, because the visarga echoes the last vowel sound that is made in the word. So it's aha, uhu, ihi, like that, right? It echoes ahi, it echoes the last sound that is made in the vowel. Okay, then we saw our consonants. G, k, g, k, ng, ch, ch, j, ch, nya, da, tha, da, dha, da, da, tha, da, dha, na, ba, pa, ba, pa, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sh, sa, ha. This was our consonants. This line of yara lava is technically called semivowels. I can't remember if I had mentioned. This line, sh, sh, s, is called sibilance. And you don't need to remember these technical terms, but I'm telling for those who are interested. And this is called the aspirant. Okay. We also saw from which part of the mouth the different consonant sounds are formed. You're not going to get tested on that in the test, in the quiz tomorrow. There's no questions about that. The quiz is focused on the actual letters and their sounds. Okay, so that is what you please focus on as you study for tomorrow's quiz. All right, so this was our consonants. Then we also saw what happens when these consonants come with other consonants. You have a kahalant meeting a s. Well, we saw how those two letters join. Conjunct consonants are a combination of two or more consonants without being separated by a vowel. Please remember, over here, I have not written the halant because we're saying the sounds k, k, g, k, but actually each consonant in its pure form comes with the halant. These letters imply that there is an a included with each of them. Every single one of these letters has a in it. So each of these letters is actually kahalant plus a, kahalant plus a, kahalant plus a, like that. Each of these letters has a halant that has been removed because of the a. I hope everyone is clear on that concept. Another really important thing we talked about connected to this point of halant is when you have a word like bha, ga, van. And I ask you to break up all the sounds in this word. The correct answer is not bha, ga, va, a. No, this is wrong. How many mistakes can you spot in this answer? I spot 7. 7 mistakes in this answer. So if I asked this question in the test and you wrote this answer, you would get -7. Automatically, you get -7, right? Why? Because you missed out on a key thing. That is, first of all, the consonants are missing halants. 4 marks gone for 4 halants missing. This is not if you miss one halant one time, you never get wrong again. Every single time you miss a halant, it is a mistake, just for the record. So please don't miss your halants. You have to make your halant the best friend. The halant your best friend if you're forgetting it. Okay? That's the first 4 mistakes. The next mistakes, there's an a missing here. There's an a missing here. And there's an a missing here. Van. When you pronounce it, this is p without the p g. Oh, sorry. There's no over here. Remove that. Va. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, only 6 mistakes. Okay. You lost only 6 points, not 7. Bhagavan. Sorry about that. If anyone got freaked out and confused, there's no with the v. All right. So I hope that everyone is clear on the breakup of the sounds also. This is something that you're going to have to practice for the rest of your life if you're going to be doing Sanskrit with us, right? You have to get really comfortable doing this. The other thing I wanted to point out was, please, when you get to consonants, don't forget the vowels. Many people make this mistake. The word I gave was spriha. I purposefully threw that word in there because, we need a little check sometimes. This was sahalant plus pahalant plus r, vowel. Remember? Plus hahalant plus a. Spr-ha. So you have to remember what the vowels are, what their symbols are, what they look like in the words, and you have to put all of that together. Even though we're doing r homework, r can focus. Okay, so this is another thing to watch out for. All right, now let me tell you about our friend. Oh, what did I do? Our friend actually I'm going to do it on this page. This the dot on the top is a placeholder for all of the nasal sounds. Just listen first, and I'll give you a minute to write. This dot on the top, the anuswara, is a placeholder for all of the nasal sounds. This line, nga, nya, ra, na, ma, this is the nasals. So the dot, the anuswara, is a placeholder for all the nasal sounds. When we are writing words, in the middle of a word, like kanchana, kanchana. This can be written in another way. This word can also be written kanchana. Meaning that any of the nasals can be written as a dot in the middle of the word. And it is not something hard to figure out which sound it is making, because naturally the mouth will form that. For example, if you see this word, are you going to say that word is angry? It sounds weird to pronounce it also. Naturally, the mouth is going to say angry. It's going to make this sound. Correct? Naturally, it's going to make the sound because there's a g in the word. This m dot is the way we write this right? This is m dot with the dot on the top. It is a placeholder for all the nasals. Usually, if it comes at the end of the word, the sound is right? At the end of the word, when there's no vowel letter following, it's So now the question is when to use which one. Now, honestly, we're learning Sanskrit so we can read the Shastra. So you don't need to worry about the technicality of which one comes when. But when you see the dot, you have to figure out which nasal it is representing. However, there is a common way you'll see this dot being used is like this. When someone comes to visit you in your house, you'll sit on your couch very nicely. I mean, not like your best friend or your cousin or someone, but some distant relative or some family friend who you don't see often comes to visit you. Well, you'll all go into the living room and you'll sit on the couches and the chairs, and everyone will sit nicely. Sit nice and straight, legs down or legs folded, whatever. Properly you sit. But when you are alone, all by yourself, what you do is you sit on that same couch sprawled like a like I don't know what the right word is. You know what I mean, right? If you have a lazy boy, it's open for sure. Meaning if you have one of those couches that kicks out, right? Even if you don't, that couch, your legs could be anywhere, your hands could be anywhere, right? Because we like to keep our backs at angles, not at 45 degrees. At every other possible angle, we like to keep our back. Well, this is kind of like our mahalant. When the mahalant, when the mahalant is at the end of a word, that is like him being alone. So he can sprawl himself out as much as he wants. When the mahalant is in the middle of a word, that is like him having guests. And then you'll find him as a dot on top. Middle of a word. I had mixed them up in the homework just for fun. You use it and you get familiar and you learn about it. But sorry, at the end of a sentence, right? Not end of a word, end of a sentence, you will find that the mahalant is traditionally used, and in the middle, you'll find it as a dot. You will not get marked wrong for using either one, but when you have to break up all the sounds, if there is a dot, you cannot write the dot. You have to write the actual sound that it makes. Okay? So this is a little bit on the Anusvara. I hope it clarifies any questions that anyone has in that regard. Okay? So this is what we have seen in class. Oh, I will just review the conjunct consonants that we had seen also. There are different types of conjunct consonants. When you have the consonants with lines at the end, very simply, you just remove the line and the rest of the consonant goes and sticks to the next one. Those are called, for kids, magnet letters. The magnet consonants, because they stick. Then you have the ones which break off a little piece and go and stick to the other one. We call those the yummy letters. You politely eat off a little piece when they are associated with other letters. Then we saw the round bottom ones, the ones like that you can't really cut in half. So you leave them with the halant, or they stack on top of other letters. Then we saw that some letters are bossy, like the D and the H. And even though they should be the half version, they end up looking full, and the full letter ends up looking like a half inside of them. So these are the different ones. Then we saw R on Independence Day, because R is independent. And we saw how he just does the opposite of everybody else. He does whatever he wants. He becomes a little stick after, even though he's not supposed to change. And he becomes a little hook on the top of the line when he comes as the first half in a conjunct consonant. Okay? Oh, one last thing I'll tell, and then I will open for questions. When you have a word like this, I mean a conjunct consonant like this, swa, it is the first one, usually, that has the halant. Someone had asked this question, so I'm just telling for everybody. And it is the second one, which usually has the vowel, meaning this is the vahalant plus O. But I had also pointed out yesterday, sometimes you'll see words like that. So you have to know to read top to bottom. So this is the halant plus the halant plus A. This The halant is the one that has the Okay, I will pause and I will open now for questions. Anyone have any questions? Anything for me to clarify before we have our test tomorrow? Yes, Arshad.
Miss, when I do the homework, right? I want to get a translate piece, and this piece absolutely make no sense at all.
No, you're not supposed to translate. You're just supposed to read. You have to read the instructions, dude. You have to just read the homework. And I even gave the answers. Nothing to do except listen to the recording and read along and make sure you can identify all the sounds. This is a class where we're learning the script. None of the meanings are relevant. You shouldn't even think about the meaning. The meaning was only for your information. I'm not testing you on any meanings of any words. Okay? Just sounds. What the letters look like and what they sound like. So, yeah, next time you read the instructions properly. Yeah, okay? All right. Any questions about our letters? No questions? Wow. Okay. How was the homework, everybody? Who was able to identify the letters by show of hands? Okay. Some people are not raising their hand. I don't know if it's because you didn't do the homework or you couldn't recognize the letters. One of the two options it'll be, right? It is actually remarkable that not even just 2.5 weeks ago, some of you didn't even know how to write a. And today, 2.5 weeks later, literally less than 20 days later, more than half of you are able to read and identify more than half of the letters. It is really remarkable. It is really impressive. I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so inspired by all of you also for the amount of effort you've put in over the past 2.5 weeks. You just keep going, and it will get easier. Now, if you're putting in sincere effort and it's really still hard and you really still can't get it, don't worry. You keep practicing. And maybe in January, early next year, we'll start a kids version of the class, right? And the kids version of learning the letters, each letter has a story, each letter has some drawings, each letter has a way to remember it. So if after a few months you're still struggling, then join the kids class and learn it again. So no problem. You're not doomed if you didn't get it this time, except if you're in the pundits course, then you're doomed because we're going to switch to just Sanskrit very soon. So, practice. But everybody, it comes slowly, it comes with practice. Um, Even if you don't know the meaning of stuff, you just keep reading it and it will come. Okay? So practice, 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 practice. Now, what is the format of the quiz? Well, I don't know how to describe it. You'll have something on the screen and you'll have to give the answers. Um, there'll be some fill in the blanks. There may be some true or false. There may be some multiple choice. There may be some short answer questions. But all your answers will be from Sanskrit to English and English to Sanskrit. There will be nothing like, what is the word for the third line in the consonants, right? We won't have any technical words being asked. So I hope that clarifies that. Now, let me tell one last thing about if you can't read the letters properly, whether you can still join the Sanskrit grammar class that is starting on Monday. Yeah, I understand that you just learned to read and write, many of you, and unconventionally, I will teach that part of class with both the Sanskrit and the trans. Tomorrow, please remember Saraswati Ma when you come. Actually, you're supposed to remember every day. But, we put extra effort to remember her when it comes to time where we have to do tests. That was me. I'd sit in front of my exam and be like, Saraswati, Ma, I'm so sorry I didn't study. Please help me. You can pray to her tomorrow, but if you didn't do your homework and you didn't study, well, she's not coming to write the letters for you. I can guarantee you that. So either you do puja to her all night and fail, or or you study. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Shri Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Oh, sorry, homework. Homework is I'll send some dictation and I'll send the reading of another story, and it's for practice, right? It's to help you for tomorrow. Just more practice.